Hello, everyone. It's your girl, Regina Sunshine, and coming to you for what is always a beautiful day for me here in Atlanta, Georgia, with the Regina Sunshine Show. Every Monday from 12 noon to 2 p.m., I give you my own version of midday motivation and help get you in a Regina Sunshine state of mind. Today's show is going to be amazing. We have, well, it looks like we're going to have 5 now. Originally there were 4. We're going to be 5 WCWs, or what I call Women Changing the World. We're going to take those acronyms and turn them into something else. We have Rhonda Thompson, who is on the way. Carmen Caldwell is in the building. Nikki Gray is in the building. And from Greensboro, North Carolina, yes, Alicia Diggs is in the building. I can't wait for you to meet these women. I'm going to start off the show the way I do every show. I like to start off with a word of thanks. I'm so thankful for how God continues to bless me and show me favor when I don't deserve it. And I know I don't deserve it, but he continues to open doors that I didn't even see, and continues to bless me in ways that continue to blow my mind. So I'm thankful for that today. And, I'm going to continue to share testimonies of great things that are happening, because I believe for some of you, well, for a lot of you, will build your faith. I talked last week about the debt that I had canceled, $15,900.59. And now I'm believing for $100,000 to show up in my account, not for a negative reason, with the taxes paid. Because God told me to make out the list. I already got the list of how I'm going to spend it. He told me to be very specific, and I have that. So I'm telling you guys that in advance. So when the money shows up in my account, and I come back and give you the testimony, you say, I remember when she said on the show that God was going to put $100,000 in her account for a very specific reason. All right. Last week, on our prayer list, my son and I were able to check off a couple more things. We were able to get him a car, no car payment. We didn't have to pay for it. That I ain't gonna tell you who paid for it, but thank God somebody wrote a check and bought him a car. We don't have to pay for it. Ain't God good? I'm telling y'all, stuff is manifesting in a major way. Y'all better go ahead and put your faith out there for what you want, because it's happening. All right? So we're going to continue to thank God for what he continues to do, but just for who he is, for loving us like he does, for sending his son to die for us, for giving everything he's given for us. That's enough all by itself. But on top of that, he continues to shower down blessings on us. So thank you, Father in heaven. We're going to take a quick break. We got a praise song lined up for today. We're good, Jack? We ready? All right, you guys are live on the air with Regina Sunshine here on the Regina Sunshine Show on Instinct Radio. All right, you guys, you're back live with Regina Sunshine here on the Regina Sunshine Show on Instinct Radio. And just a couple of announcements. I want to talk to you about our upcoming shows. I'm so excited. The lineup is fierce. That's not my doing. It's all God's doing. These ideas just seem to drop out of the sky from nowhere. But on October the 26th, we have our Fight for Your Kids show. And I've got some amazing people here that are going to be here. Youth empowerment activist Renee Sewell will be here, as well as youth PR coach Crystal Jordan. You saw her son, Stone Erickson, on our Young Bosses show. So she's going to be here. And you've seen these guys on here before, and you guys love them. And they actually called and said, man, we would love to come back. We so enjoyed our experience at Instinct Radio. So when I had another open slot, I actually contacted them. Founders of the We Up Motivation Youth Empowerment Prison Tour, Dr. Courtney Russell. You remember him? Neighborhood Hope Dealer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dr. Courtney Russell and his partner, Big Yoda, David Roman. And they, like I said, they started this prison prevention tour, going around to the different facilities, talking to our young people. And perfect for our Fight for Your Kids show. Now, November the 2nd is our once a month.
Wait, what did you say that date was? October
26th.
Okay, that's my mom's birthday, so I'm not going to be here. I'm playing, I'll be here. I'm
like live on air?
I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'm joking.
All right. November the 2nd is our once a month Living Like a Boss men's show. And our topic, which relates directly to today's topic, is MCM. Instead of Man Crush Monday, is Men Changing Men. So we're going to have men who are mentoring and coaching and ministering to other men. And we have Ronaldo Norman. You guys might not know Ronaldo. He's going to be here as a former pro ball player. But his little brother, Josh Norman, plays for the Carolina Panthers right now. So a lot of people know, I think of the 5 brothers, at least 3 of them have played professional ball. So Ronaldo's going to be here. I got some other surprise guests. One of them's from another radio station. I don't know if he wants me to advertise it yet, but anyway, looking forward to him being here. Hopefully, We also have Mr. Akeem Woodard in the building. You guys have met him before. He actually works with young people who are returning home from prison, helping them and their families to begin to reestablish life, I guess you would say. He does what he calls a family reunion. So he brings the young people back together with their parents and shows them, you know, how to adjust to having this young person home from prison that maybe hadn't been in the home for a while. So that's going to be a powerful show. MCM, Men Changing Men. And I do want to make sure I mention our Jack says that it is Motivational Mondays, but from 3 to 5 we have the Sanctuary, where the spirit meets the streets with Shakima Silveri. From 5 to 7 we have Real Talk with Regina Breed. And again, that's the show where people say things that you want to say when you listening to the radio, but you get to say them live on air with Regina Breed. And then at 3 o'clock, the Front Porch Radio Show. I said 3 o'clock. The Front Porch Radio Show from 7 to 9 with Chico Simpson, Todd Robinson, and Atina Marie. So that is the Motivational Mondays lineup here on Instinct Radio. And I still say is magnificent Motivational Mondays. And Jack says we got a caller on the line. Caller, are you there?
Yes.
Hello, caller.
Yes, I'm here.
How are you doing, honey?
Regina, my sister.
Tell everybody who you are, where you calling from.
This is Shakima Silveri, host of the Sanctuary on Instinct Radio.
Where you calling from, though?
6 a.m. here. I'm in Hawaii.
You in Hawaii, calling us over here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes, I watched the show live just to show my support. And it's, like I said, it's 6 a.m. here, so I'm kind of jet lagged. I'm exhausted, but I just wanted to shout you out and let you know that I love you and I'm so proud of you. And tell Jack to behave today, please.
I will. I'll try to get him in line before your show starts today, because I think you left how many men here, and you finally got one woman that's going to be in the building.
Yeah, so I got the 3 guys there, and then it's the Tiana will be. She's going to hold it down for the estrogens. We need some ovaries in the place.
Yes.
But you know, Jack and DJ Contradiction, Baby Daddy, they'll act the fool.
I know.
I had to help them out. Mm-hmm.
Well, I thank you so much for calling in, sis. Enjoy your trip.
Okay, I love y'all, and I'll see you soon.
Now, look, post lots of pictures, too. We want to see those.
I will.
All right, love you. Have a great day.
All right, love you, too. Bye.
Yes, everybody, that was Shakima Silveri with The Sanctuary every Monday from 3 to 5, where the spirit meets the streets. And like she said, she left the show here with Jack and DJ Contradiction, and what's the young man, the special guest co-host for today, along with Isna. I'm so glad to see Isna added to the thing, because up until then it was just a bunch of men, and y'all were going to really not do right, I felt, with her gone.
I don't think I appreciate that comment.
I think y'all were going to have y'all, like the day that I was gone from my show, and you and Dana and everybody said y'all, it felt like the substitute teacher was there, and y'all could just do what y'all wanted to, and y'all did all kinds of stuff that day.
Yeah, we did.
So I can feel you, Shakima, but thanks for your love. And they're going to do a great job. I'm sure they're going to make you proud and keep the sanctuary while she's gone, Jack Trey. Sound good? All right, you guys. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to start our WCW show, Women Changing the World. First up will be Miss Rhonda Thompson. She's here and she's ready. You are live and air with Regina Sunshine here on Instinct Radio. All right, you guys, you're back live with Regina Sunshine here on our Women Changing the World show on Instinct Radio. And we have our first guest up. We have Miss Rhonda Thompson here. I'm going to read a couple lines from her bio, and then we'll talk about the rest of it as we have our conversation live on air today. It says here that Rhonda Thompson began this journey of domestic violence work in 1997 when she realized that she was free from abuse. Her first encounter with serving women and children was at the Sojourner Truth House in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. While working the crisis line at Sojourner Truth, she was driving home after personally escaping a woman with 3 children from a domestic violence incident and transporting them to, was it Racine, Wisconsin? Racine on the Greyhound. This is when she felt that she needed to do more. Ms. Thompson ignored the calling for 15 years until she couldn't any longer. As a woman who survived and understood many forms of domestic violence, including sexual abuse, she founded Rose of Sharon Transitional Life Transitional Living for Women Incorporated in February 2012. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's so good to have you here. I'm always excited to meet people doing great work. And I always like to start with how I met you. We were connected on Facebook by Lanita Mitchell Blackwell. Hi, Lanita. Thank you. I'm so thankful for the women that I know that know other amazing women to continue to connect me because it's a blessing. She told me, she said, this is someone you need to know, Regina. And once I talked to you on the phone, I was like, I understood exactly why she connected us.
Praise God.
You know, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Perfect time to have you on, but we're having you on even more specifically to talk about an upcoming event that you have.
Yes.
But before we talk about the event, tell us about your organization, Rose of Sharon Transitional Living for Women.
So Rose of Sharon, what we do right now is we provide supportive services to women and children involved in domestic violence. Normally, by the time I get their call, it's an emergency. They either have just escaped or they need to escape. Whether it's finding shelter or food or clothing or anything that will help them through that hump, that's what we do. Our ultimate goal is to be able to provide housing. That's why it's transitional living. So we want to be able to provide emergency shelter, transitional, which is a longer period, and putting them into a permanent housing, their own apartment. So that is the work that we do.
Well, you know, I didn't have this on my list of questions, but I'm going back now to the notes. You say you ran from this call for a period of time.
Yeah, you know, sometimes when there's something that's bigger than you, you know, you got this big monkey in the room or this big elephant in the room, and you're like, I can't tackle that. You know, I've had my own business prior to Rose of Sharon, and you know, I did well with that. But it wasn't something that required me to be involved in such a sensitive nature, and what I could do could make or break, you know, a woman. You know, I could get her in worse trouble. I could, you know, make her, you know, a complete success. So it was something that was quite intimidating, but I believe that it was something that God gave me. And I said, why me? I don't know, you know, that type of structure. I don't know nonprofit. I don't know, you know, I know my own violence and things like that I've gone through, but being able to help someone else was a pretty big task for me. So I ran out of fear, but fear is a crippling effect for us. And if you are afraid to do what God calls you to do, it's gonna constantly come up. So all those years, it was always with me, and I knew the name of the organization right away. It stayed, and when it was really time, when I said yes, he gave me the vision of the logo, what it meant, everything, like in a dream. And so I'm glad that I said yes. There are many obstacles that come with owning a business or an organization like this, but it was primarily out of fear.
Yes. Well, I want to mention that because that's common. You know, God gives you a vision, and you look at it, and you're like, "There's no way I can do this," and you're exactly right. You can't, but He can.
That's right.
And He equips you to do just what He has called you to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And so when we take ourselves out of it and say, "All right, God, you know what? If this is going to be done, it's going to be you." And He's like, "All right, baby, let's go."
It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
This work, from reading your bio, is something that's very important to you because you were working with women in these situations long before your organization. Mm-hmm. Why is this work so important to you?
I'm a survivor. I am a survivor. I say I am a multiple abused person. You know, I have dealt with child abuse. Let me just say something about domestic violence as I tell my story. But domestic violence is not just a partner relationship. It means any domestic household type of violence, family violence. The intimate partner violence is the term that's, you know, pretty new, well, to me at least. That's where it's a husband and wife or a loving type of relationship partner. But I've been through it all. I've been through child abuse. I've been through sexual molestation and intimate partner violence as well. So I did not think it was something that I would do for my life. You know, I didn't think, I mean, that's just something I went through. Everybody's had their stuff. Everybody's gone through things, and that's it. But not knowing that that God used that, because in order for me to help someone else, I do have to know a little bit about something what I'm talking about. So I believe that it was just all a part of the master plan.
Wow. Now this event you got coming up, 2015 Living Behind the Mask Masquerade Ball. Tell us about your ball.
So the name Living Behind the Mask came from, I did an event last year where Kendra Turner, one of our survivors that I'll be honoring this week, was on the panel. And she said, we become really good actresses. And from that, it was like living behind the mask. So living behind the mask masquerade is symbolic of what women do in silence. We suffer in silence and not using our voice to get help or to even free and liberate ourselves from the abuse. We have an amazing fashion show that'll be part of our entertainment. Elevated Dance Company will be there to dance. They're doing a tribute to Roderick Cunningham. He's the owner and founder of Beverly Cunningham Outreach Program, which is his mom. She was murdered in 2009, I believe, from domestic violence while he was in the house.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So that dance company is coming to do a tribute to her. We just have we're gonna have a lot of fun, a lot of entertainment. We're honoring some celebrities. Andrea Kelly is one of our celebrities. That's R. Kelly's ex-wife.
Yeah, I saw her picture on the flyer.
Yeah, Carlette Martin, amazing woman. Oh my gosh. We have Janet Jackson, Boss Chicks of Atlanta. She's a big promoter and business owner here in Atlanta. And then we have Kendra Turner, the one I mentioned, Sharon Willingham. Jodine Bastarash will be our keynote speaker. She's coming from Chicago. She's lived in domestic violence for 14 years before she realized that she was a victim. Wow. So people not knowing what this term means. It's not always physical abuse, but she didn't know that she was a victim of domestic violence. And then we have Crystal Chanel also. We'll be honoring her as well. So we have a really nice.
It's gonna be a good thing.
Yeah.
And it's this Saturday night,
This Saturday.
6 p.m. to 11 p.m. How can people get tickets? They want to come out and enjoy the ball.
Yes. Get
Something
dressed
about
up.
a ball.
Yes,
you know?
it's a ball, darling. You can go to our website, which is www.roseofsharonnewstart.org, and get your tickets there. So.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So the purpose behind the ball, because when we spoke, you told me that the goals and the dreams you have for the organization, and the ball is a part of that. Talk to us about that.
So the ball is a way to. I'm such a girl, so I like girly stuff. I like fabulous things, and so the ball, I just used it as a way to bring awareness and bring people together that would not have sat in a domestic violence environment to be, brought aware of this particular epidemic. So I wanted to create an evening of elegance and excellence for people to participate in the interim, honor some women who have not only gone through domestic violence as a survivor, but as an overcomer. And these women are doing something with their life after the abuse. And they're empowering others, and they're sharing their story for those who are still silent, who have not, spoken up yet. So just to create a opportunity in that wise, but also we're raising $150,000 for our first emergency shelter. Yes. That is huge. We found that, our first mission was housing. And we're like, okay, we'll provide some services, just to, start helping a little bit, but that won't fix it. It's like putting new wine in old wineskin. You got to get out of that situation so then you could be restored and renewed and all that. And housing it's hard to find the shelter space for women in emergency situations right now. So, we want to bridge that gap.
I love it. When you think about the organization moving forward, what is the legacy of Rose of Sharon? What is that legacy?
Rose of Sharon is, our legacy will be, that's a very good question. Our legacy will be that we were the voice for the voiceless, and we are going to be an intricate part in making domestic violence famous. and not just famous in the way of, not in a bad way, but my thinking is if we can get it on TV, if it can be part of your, when you go to the movies and they have the commercials, you can see, something about domestic violence at the movies. You go to the grocery store, you have the grocery cart, and you have something about domestic violence on the grocery cart, at the mart, or everywhere. If we can speak about it enough, and we can speak loud and spare not, then we are going to get a community that is not only hiding from it, but they're open to discussion. And we're able to create platforms for women to speak and say, look, Regina, I don't know how to tell you this, but I am going through domestic violence. I don't know how to get out. Because you've heard something, if you learned about something, you can say, you know what, I know this organization. Or, maybe they can't help you, but they can find someone that can.
Yes.
So we really want to bring it to mainstream, not just hearing about it when the celebrities are involved in it, but everyday people. It's not an economic thing. It's not an educational thing. It's not, black or white. It's not just women. 85% women, 15% men are affected by domestic violence. So it says it's time. We need to talk about it more. Let's stop being silent. Let's stop being afraid, but let's cry loud and spare not.
I love it. I do. Well, I think your survivor is here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we'll allow her to join you, and we'll let you guys share a little bit together. That sound good?
Great.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on the Regina Sunshine Show on Instinct Radio. All right, you guys, you're back live with Regina Sunshine here on Instinct Radio. And I still have Rhonda Thompson with me, and we've been joined by one of the models from her masquerade ball. Javette is here with us. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Doing good. We're so glad you made it over here
Thank
with
you.
us.
Thank you.
We hear you didn't know it was going to be audio and video.
No, I did not.
But you're looking amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
She is.
I appreciate that.
Well, when Rhonda called me, I think you texted me. I can't remember if we spoke. I got so many conversations in my head. She mentioned that you shared your story with her, and she felt like it was so important that you come and share a little bit with our audience, real briefly.
Okay.
Tell them about your story and why you felt it was important to be a part of her masquerade ball.
Well, I have to be honest. This is actually the first time that I've ever been in a fashion show dealing with domestic violence. I just recently started speaking on what happened to me. For 20 years, I went through domestic violence. For 20 years, I went through abuse, the beating, the talk down, or whatever. But my situation was, I was the president of a school district. I ran a school district. I was a radio personality. I have four beautiful children that all played sports and were involved in everything. So when you have a lot of people looking up to you, who do you have to talk to? Who do you have to tell that this is what you're going through? Constantly covering up bruises and things and just going through, just so much. And I had no one to talk to. And I felt like nobody allowed me to be human, So I would have to say within the last 5 years or 6 years after the divorce, I can say I feel human. I feel like Robin or Javette or whatever they call me. I feel like a woman, a real woman. But it was at one point in time, I remember when I walked, I would look down. Why? And I'm pretty sure a lot of the women that are listening has been through domestic violence. You know why? Because he would accuse you of looking at someone or talking to someone. So it would be that smack or that hit or that something. So, but I would have to say just recently, after my near-death experience, that also encouraged me to talk about it a little more, and plus the videos and everything that I see out here with the young women and the young men are fighting and this aggressiveness, and everybody thinks it's okay to videotape it in school, and it's not. So it's about time for me to tell my story. I mean, I almost lost my life, and I'm pretty sure some of the women that are listening have been in the same boat. So it's about time that we really do speak about it.
I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank you.
And Rhonda mentioned that you had another possible engagement, but that you turned it down because this was the spot you wanted to be, and you wanted to be at her masquerade ball because of what it represented.
Yes, and it was like I was telling my manager, it wasn't about pay or anything. It was about joining with some women that had been through what I went through, and it was my first time ever being in a fashion show. Like, I model, so I've been in several big fashion shows and everything, but to be in one that truly represents something, when you talk about mask and behind the mask, and we're taking the mask off, that's awesome and amazing. So to be able to walk down that runway, I told her, I'll probably be crying because it means something to me to be able to do that. It doesn't matter about being the reality star or the person I am, none of that. It was about something that was so dear that happened to me that God blessed me to come out of, you know, and for other women to come out of. And I'm able to walk down the runway because at one point in time I couldn't walk. At one point in time for 7 days, I bled inside for 7 days and I didn't think I would make it. So to do this fashion show means a lot to me, and I hope it means a lot to you women and the women and the people that attend. It's going to be amazing. Wow. Yeah, it's going to be amazing because I never thought, I have to be honest with you, my faith is amazing. I trust in God. But I'll be honest, I never thought I would make it out of it. But I want to say this, one of the reasons why I stayed in my situation as long as I did, because my advice is not to stay in it, is not to stay in it. But it was my thinking. Sometimes our thinking is either because we're so in love with someone or something happened to us where we don't want other people to be hurt. So for me, I lost my sister at the age of 17. My mother got remarried. My father used to beat my mom. So when my mother got remarried to my stepdad, my sister and stepdad didn't get along. And he got in a fight with her, knocked her through a wall. The state took my sister. Never saw my sister. I only saw her 3 times before she died. I got a phone call on Friday. My sister was dead on Saturday. So her situation didn't get put in a better situation than her home. She died. So I had this fear that if I divorced this man, I would be jeopardizing maybe one of my children. So I endured the beatings, the embarrassment, the everything. But people, I tell you what, I was good with the mask because some people didn't know. I was on point with everything from the radio, the school board, the kids, the practices, never missed nothing. Only 2 practices. I had 4 children, 4. Only missed 2, and that's when I was in the hospital dying. Other than that, never missed nothing. So nobody really knew. So my point is, I had to come, and that's why I threw my clothes on, because I want to let the women know that it really isn't no excuse to stay in that situation. The other thing is, everybody's always talking to us as women about it, but we need to start talking to the men because they're raised in this environment, and it's normal to some of them. They don't know how to show their love. We think it's cute. Young women today think it's cute. Oh, he wants to know where I am. Let me tell you something. It got on my nerves calling me every 5 minutes. Who had the Nextel? Anybody had the Nextel where you chirping, all that kind of stuff? Chirping me everywhere I went. Just chirp. What you do? Where you at? I just literally, I'm not at stop sign yet. So those things that young people think is cute, like my man is into me, let me tell you, there's a balance to everything. There's a balance with love. There's a balance in relationship. There's a balance how you have sex with your woman. There's a balance. And if it's off balance, it's not right. So we need to deal with the men too.
I love it. That was good stuff. That was good stuff. Well, tell everybody again when the ball is, how they can get their tickets, and both of you as well, where people can reach you on social media so they can contact you, follow you, have you come out and speak to a group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. You can get tickets at www.roseofsharon, SHARON, newstart.org. The ball is October 24th at 6 p.m. at the Georgia Piedmont Conference Center. You can follow me on Instagram at I am Rhonda Thompson, and then on Facebook, just Rhonda Thompson.
That was pretty simple. And so my social sites is, for Facebook, it's Robin Javette Mobley, and that's ROBIN. And then for also Age No Factor. Age No Factor is a campaign that I started in regards to my whole life story. So go to Age No Factor and Age No Factor also on Facebook, Instagram, and on Instagram, the Javette.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being
here.
Thank
you for having us.
I'm seeing a return to Instinct Radio for another show. We can really share in detail your stories. I think that needs to happen. All right?
Right.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Alicia Diggs is here, and she's going to be live on Instinct Radio. All right, you guys, you're back live with Regina Sunshine here on the WCW, or Women Changing the World show here on Instinct Radio. And we have our next guest up. Her name is Alicia Diggs. It says here that Alicia Diggs is a native of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and lives in North Carolina. Now, what city are you living in?
Greensboro.
One of my favorite cities in the world, Greensboro, North Carolina. That's because I'm A&T Aggie, but that's enough of that.
All right.
Alicia received a bachelor's degree in social work in 2009 from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, and master's degree in public health in 2014 from Capella University.
Yes.
Is currently working on her PhD in public health, also at Capella University. And I'm going to let you tell them the rest of the story. But welcome to the show, Alicia.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
I always talk about how I first met someone. I met you at the Beauty from Head to Toe tour stop in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Exactly.
And you were on the panel and you shared your testimony and you rocked our worlds. Because the thing I remember most about you is the joy, the love, the happiness that just comes out of you. And then for you to tell your story, and you're like, wait a minute, this girl done been through some things. And you were so open that day and so transparent. So let's go ahead and get into your story. So first of all, and I know that there's one big thing we're going to be talking about, but before your life before with the diagnosis, let's say that, your life before the diagnosis. Tell us about that.
Wow. Well, as the other ladies were actually speaking about domestic violence, I grew up in domestic violence. I watched my mother from the age of 3 to the age of 13 get beat by my stepdad. She would get beat for simple things like she didn't wear the right clothes, she didn't cook the right food. It wasn't that they got into arguments and then it just got out of hand. He just felt like he wanted to hit her that day. And he would beat my mother so severely, I would be like, if he hit her one more time, he's going to kill her. Wow. And not only beating her, beat my brother. And he would beat my sisters, and I'm just like, he never touched me. He always called me a black, ugly bee. I don't like you, or something about you I don't like. He stayed away from me. But that all stopped when I was 13 years old. I fought my stepdad, beating my mom, beating my brother. And he hit me so hard, he threw me into a wall and damaged my spine, but I got up.
This is the first time I'm hearing this part of your story.
I know, I have so much. I tell little bits here and there so much. Everybody has a story, and it's traumatic. So just watching that as a child and coming up, my thing was, I am never going to let a man put his hands on me. I never thought I was big and bad, but I fought my stepdad when I was 13. And not only did I fight it, when I hit him, I just felt all of this wetness all over me, and I ran with my big brother. And it was blood all over me. I didn't know where it came from. It was from him. So, I'm just like, yeah. But throughout all of that, my mother, she had 5 of us. And she stopped, and she was like, you know what, this is it. I cannot continue to live this way. And it's different reasons why women stay. As the last sister talked about, it's different reasons. So nobody can judge a woman and say, oh, she needs to get out of there. You don't know why. You don't know what the situation is. We didn't have help. We lived the part. Beautiful house, beautiful neighborhood, hell inside of the house. Sometimes no running water, no heat in the wintertime, sometimes no food. And people didn't know that. And I went to school, I got teased. People didn't know that we were going through. But I was always friendly.
I always smiling like you are now.
God created me to be that way. So,
absolutely. You're a lover of people.
Thank you. I can't help it, and I didn't want to be that way, but I had to embrace who I am and stop running from Alicia. So I finally did that. Just fast forward and getting to, my actual life. I lived the life of, the quote-unquote good girl, taking care of the children by myself. I moved to North Carolina to be closer to my dad. And I decided, God, I'm going to wait on you. I'm going to wait for my husband. I'm tired of trying to date, and it doesn't work. And I'm giving my all, and it just doesn't work. And I went back home to Philly in 2001, ran into my high school sweetheart. I met him when I was 14 years old. And we were just like Google eyes. Oh, I miss you too. I love you too. Oh, I want to move to North Carolina with you. Oh, I want to marry you. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And my prayer was, by the time I'm 30 years old, I'll be married. I was 29 when I ran into him. So I'm like, oh, this is God. And I kept hearing this voice like, don't marry this guy. Don't marry this guy. And I'm like, see, the devil don't want me to have nothing. That's the devil. That's the devil trying to keep me from being happy. So I went on. I got with him in July of 2001. In August 2001, like 30 days later, I got tremendously sick. I had the flu, I had strep, I lost like 20 pounds. I'm like, what is wrong? And the doctor's like, Miss Diggs, you're fine. It's a cold. It'll go away. I said, no, I know my body. I take care of me. I know something's wrong. No, everything's okay. My lymph nodes were swollen to the touch, to the site in my neck. And I'm like, what is going on? Got an HIV/AIDS test. December 13th, 2001, 10 a.m. was my appointment. I went in, got a folder pushed towards me, said HIV positive. Are you serious? Are you serious? How did this happen? Yes, I know it's sexually transmitted, but I waited for my husband. No sex, no dating, no nothing for almost 3 years. And before that, I protected myself. How did this happen? My family, they already knew. And that voice that I was hearing that's saying, no, marry this guy, stay away from this guy, God, I didn't listen because I was happy. And I thought the enemy didn't want me happy. So throughout all of this, I'm like, he loves me. He's my high school sweetheart. I got a ring on my finger. He wouldn't do this to me. I married him. People like, you marry him? Why would you do that? Who's going to want the HIV girl? Nobody's going to want the HIV girl. So I didn't want to have to go through the rejection of having to tell my status and people reject me and say, ooh, no, I don't want to be around her. I married somebody that I thought who wanted me. And I stayed with him, and we argued, and we argued, and we argued. Because I needed to know, how did you get infected? And then one day, through the argument, it's like, yeah, I knew, so what? What you gonna do? What am I gonna do? I have 2 children in the room, not his. They're in bed. Now, I didn't hear God anymore after this point. What I heard was the devil telling me to kill him. So what I did, I didn't. I didn't kill him because I'm here, of course. But I made plans to kill this man. I got a will prepared, having my dad as the beneficiary and everything. He just thought he was, oh, you want to do a will? Okay, fine. Dad, family, nobody knew I was going to kill this man. And I'm not ashamed to say, yeah, I was going to take him out, and I was willing to go to prison or die doing it. I needed to get him for what he did to me. But, God had another plan. I kept hearing this other voice that said, wait, I got your back. I'm like, now who is that? What is this? I got all these voices in my head. And I'm going to stop and talk about voices just real briefly. People see other people walk down the street and they talk to themselves, oh, they're crazy. No, they've gone through something. Because the way those people heard those voices, I heard those voices loud and clear like I hear mine right now. Kill him. You can get away with it. Go kill him. He's asleep. Go kill him. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do it. Wait, I got your back. Just hold up. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting confused. Long story short, we fought. We fought like animals in that house. I tried to beat that man half to death in there. He had to call the cops. He had to get away from me. The cops escorted him out of my house. From there, I had a choice. Die, kill him, go to prison, or do something. I chose to do something. So 2004, I started to tell my story of how I got infected, where I am, where God has taken me, and God kept showing me these awesome pictures of myself on a stage speaking to people, telling my story, and I'm like, I don't want to tell people about me. I don't want people judging me, saying, ew, the nasty girl. Ooh, I don't want to touch her. And I am fabulously awesome. Yes. I am fabulously awesome. I'm so not conceited. I love who I am. I love who I've become. I still have to deal with stigma. Excuse me. Stigma is very, very hard. I've even gone through somebody trying to date me, and then when I told them my status, the response was, ew, I can't be with you. You didn't tell me. You were just going to come around me and not tell me you had that thing. I have to deal with stuff like that, but I keep smiling. I keep smiling.
You do. You are, when I say, one of the most loving, and that was the thing that struck me the day I met you, when you were on that panel. And I think it was one of the first times you told your story. Mm-hmm. There were some other amazing stories. Shannon was on the panel that day, and she shared her story for the first time. But the thing, I was like, she's the happiest person in here. She's the most loving person in here. And people would think the opposite, right?
Right,
but
absolutely.
It's absolutely, you've embodied, you've taken this message and this mission, and you're living it.
Yes,
and let's talk about I Will Live, your organization.
I Will Live came from God. I write a lot on Facebook. People who follow me see I always write. And, you know, somebody said, Alicia, you should do a blog. And I was like, a blog? You know, I write a book. And they was like, no, you should do a blog. And I was like, well, okay. One day I go to church. Another lady says, you should do a blog. I never comment, but I see what you do and you inspire me and you empower me. And I'm like, wow, little old me. I went and praised and worship. I have no idea what the song was. While I'm praising, God said loud and clear, you will live. And I broke down. Oh my gosh, I broke down. I just get chills when I talk about it. And God said, your blog is I will live. And I started blogging, I will live. And then God said, your foundation is I will live. And people say, I will live. I will live through what? I will live through an HIV diagnosis. I will live through domestic violence. I will live through depression. I will live through suicidal thoughts. I will live. And that's what I will live is. It's not just about HIV, because HIV is just at the bottom of the totem pole compared to what we all deal with. We deal with so many mind-boggling issues. We wake up in the morning, we try to praise God, but sometimes you have different things that are going on. How am I going to eat today? Do I have enough gas to get to work and get back home? You know, am I going to have a job when I walk up in there? Most of us are one paycheck away from homelessness. So we will live through all of these traumatic situations. So that's what I will live is.
I love it. I love it. Some of your work, because you're involved in so many different organizations now. I see you all over the place, you know, on boards, on stages, on marches, wherever, out here spreading the word about the importance of knowing your status and living. Tell us about some of the things you're involved in.
Well, I'm actually here in Atlanta because I was with my organization, Sister Love. Sister Love / 2020 Leading Women's Society. And what it is it's a society of HIV positive women who are active in the community, who are leaders in the community. And we all come together annually so that we can celebrate new inductees. So by the year 2020, we will have 2020 women HIV positive leaders, not just in the United States, but worldwide. So we also have women in Africa who are HIV positive, who are leaders, who are coming out, who are taking a stand and saying this is what it is, but I am living. So we come, like I said, every year, and we just come together. We induct new women. We give out awards to the honorees for women who have been living positive over 20 years. And it's just a wonderful sisterhood. We support one another. We love one another. There's no shame. There's freedom to be who you are as a woman, not as I'm HIV positive, but as a woman.
I love it. You know I love you
love
and your work. I had the opportunity to be at your I Will Live event, and it was amazing because, like you said before, it wasn't just about one individual thing. There were people on that panel who talked about lupus and some of everything, all with the same voice, all with the same confession, I will live. So I thank you for doing the work that you're doing, because you've taken something that for some people could have been crippling, you know, and you decided, you know, no, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to live, and I'm going to live fierce and wide open. That's what I see when I see you. Well, if someone wants to support you, wants to have you come in and speak, or wants to support I Will Live, tell them how they can get in contact with you.
Well, you can reach me. My Gmail is healedlee@gmail.com. That's healed like I'm healed because I am.
That's right.
HEALEDLEE@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook as Alicia Lovely, and that's LUVLEE Diggs, or my fan page, I Will Live. You'll see a big picture of my beautiful face. And on Facebook under Alicia Lovely Diggs, it's a picture of my brother and I. And I will just have to throw out there, I thought I wasn't going to say anything, but my brother passed 3 months ago, and he was my biggest cheerleader. And when he passed, I didn't want to do anything else. You know, I needed to just go on my ball, cry, and my brother said, no, you do you. I'm okay, sis. So every time I think about him, I do cry, but he was so proud of me. He was so proud of me. And yes, so many others are, but my brother and I were best friends. He died from liver cancer, and he always cheered me on. And I'm grateful for that. I'm really, really grateful for that. I miss him. We never fought. We never argued. We fought together, other people. But he was my biggest cheerleader, and I miss him dearly. And even though I was going to continue to walk the path God has me on, I'm going to even do it more so because of my big brother. So I thank you.
Thank you so much for being here,
You're
for
so
hanging
very
around.
welcome. Yes.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I don't know who, because I can't even see my pages, but we'll be back with somebody here live on the Regina Sunshine Show on Instinct Radio. All right, you guys, we are back live on the air with Regina Sunshine here on Regina Sunshine Show on Instinct Radio. And we have our next guest on the Women Changing the World show. Yes. And I'm not going to attempt to read her bio because everything looks a little fuzzy right now. I'm serious. I got tears in these lashes and everything. I'm not even going to pretend. Welcome to the show, Nikki Gray. Yes. All right. I always talk about how I met someone. The first time I ever saw you was at the Apex Museum at Angela Carswell Beauty Unleashed event. And you sang and you did poetry. I was like, who in the world is this? And it had such a powerful presence that I knew I wanted to meet you. And then I went to see the play, The 11th Hour, and you were in the play. If you haven't been to see that play, it's an amazing. I was the same way, boo crying through the whole play. Yeah. Welcome. It's so good to
Thank you for
finally
having
have
me
you
on.
here. So, what I can't read, can you share real quickly a little bit about yourself with our audience?
I am Nikki Gray, and I am a singer, songwriter, poet, actress, activist, just kind of all around creative, and involved in the 11th Hour, which you mentioned, with Positive Arts Movement, which is an incredible movement of creative individuals that have gathered together, focusing on different social agendas and using our creative arts to push forward social change. So being a part of that group has inspired me so much and has really helped me to grow in my poetry, in my songwriting, and just really creating that platform for me to go, okay, this is what I'm going to focus on and really push things forward. So it's been an amazing journey working with them and just really putting my art to use with purpose.
Awesome. So, because when I see you, I see artists, and multiple facets and everything. Has this been a big part of your life? Is this who you've always been? Is this something that you have now come into?
Oh, no. I have been, I've been an artist since I was born. When I was a kid, younger, I played violin. Played violin for 10 years. Actually went to Georgia State as a violinist.
Wow.
And I was a thespian. I was in theater, singing, writing. One of my dreams when I was younger was the hope that I would be a writer. And I imagined the whole I'm at home and writing books and taking care of house and home and family and children and husband. And so I've been a creative ever since I can remember. It's always been something that's just really heavy on me. And it's part of who I am. It isn't just what I do. I don't just do these things. It is literally who I am. I am a creative person. It affects how I think and how I carry myself and everything. So my whole world is the creative arts.
Well, when I think about you, like I said, the times that I've seen you perform, it's always a message. There's always a meaning. There's always a purpose behind, what you sing, what you perform with your spoken word.
Absolutely.
You are an activist to the core. You're an artist, activist. That's the best way to put those things together. And there are, it's interesting, some of what we've been talking about today, the thread of domestic violence here, that's a huge platform for you as well. I see that, breast cancer, domestic violence, violence against women and girls, teen homelessness, and human trafficking are some of the main issues that are dear to you. Talk to us about that.
Well, particularly in regards to domestic violence, with, of course, this being Domestic Violence Awareness Month and breast cancer awareness. I've experienced breast cancer and the scare of breast cancer for myself personally, and then also for a family member. And then when it comes to domestic violence, I've had my own experiences with that. Thankfully, They weren't extended over a long period of time. It was a brief instance with a boyfriend that drank too much and decided to put his hands on me. And I remember thinking to myself, I will never be that woman who makes that decision to say, oh, well, no, he still loves me. And it isn't until you're in that situation where you're challenged with that. And I made the decision that I don't want to stay in something that's going to put my life in danger. And then when it comes to violence against women and girls, I, in my own history, was attacked by 5 guys with a gun to my head and was raped and abused. And, you know, just that whole experience for me, I know what that's like to go through that and to feel the shame and the different things and the blaming yourself and believing that if I hadn't done this or if I hadn't done that, and you hear all these different things and excuses that people make. What was she wearing? You know, where were you? What were the circumstances? There is no excuse whatsoever that can excuse domestic violence, that can excuse child abuse, that can excuse rape. There is no excuse. There's nothing that you can offer that says this happened because you did this and it's warranted. No, absolutely not. So for me, having gone through some of those things in my own life, I'm determined to use my voice creatively to let people know that it's not acceptable at all. And we have so many different excuses that we use, and we placate those things and say that, oh, you know, it was because of this or that, and then we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it. We keep it to ourselves. You know, I grew up in a home, and I love my family home, but, you know, the Black family home, what stays, you know, what happens in our house stays in our house. And we do that with our community. And so there's so many families and so many people out there that are hurting, and we refuse to talk to each other about those things. And I think for me, it's important to be able to share personally what I've gone through, but also to be able to use my art to convey those things so that other people can feel comfortable enough to say, hey, I've been in that same situation. You touched my life when you shared about this. And feel like I can talk to someone else about this so that we can start talking about it and healing from those things. Because as long as we keep it in the dark, and as long as we keep it silent, and as long as we don't talk about it, it's not going to change.
Well, you know, that's what I love about the spoken word community. I always say open mics are like therapy on stage.
Yes, it is.
Because you go and it's like you open yourself up, you know, and you allow yourself to deal openly with things that are going on with you, which then in turn helps someone in the audience who may be going through a similar thing. That's what I love about you guys, because you're so transparent that you allow your gift in your life to help other people. So, spoken word. And I sent you a message and you didn't answer. I was like, do you have something you want to do? Something you want to sing? Is there anything that you want to do for us?
Sure. I would love to share my piece. She asked for it. Unfortunately, the vocals are not there to sing.
Okay.
But I would love to share that.
Go ahead.
Okay. She didn't know it was her fault. Didn't realize she asked for it. It didn't matter that she screamed no, or that she fought to get away, or that when she didn't scream or fight for fear for her life, that it meant clearly she wanted this. Forget the gun, the knife, the brute force exacted upon her, or the fear that paralyzed her. There was nothing she could have said or done that would have denied her obvious desire for this. This was her fault. It was because of what she had on. Tight or loose, covered up or revealing, it was in her voice. Unspoken words that invited her attacker inside. She brought it on herself. It was the way she flirted, didn't flirt, looked at him, didn't notice him. It was the way she played hopscotch, jumped rope, played with her toys, all her fault. She asked for it. See, it wasn't rape because she wanted it. She shouldn't have smiled, laughed, had fun, enjoyed herself with him or without, in his presence or seen from afar. She shouldn't have drank that night. You know, women who drink alcohol are loose, and getting drunk is giving permission. See, it wasn't abuse because she asked for it. She shouldn't have spoken to him that way, used that tone of voice, expressed her opinion, voiced her concern, disagreed with him? No. She should have been silent, seen but not heard anything else, and she asked for what she got. Totally her fault. She was a beacon turned on, an open sign waiting for business. This was her fault. She asked for it, asked to be drugged, asked to be violated, asked to be hit, kicked, beaten, to be overly sexualized, seen as nothing more than an object, a toy, a possession, a less than thing, not equal, not worthy, not human, just girl. Just woman. Clearly, by audaciously choosing not to be born male, she asked for it. Thank y'all.
Wow, that was powerful. Wow.
Thank y'all.
The work you do, I know, is very important to you. A big part of that is what you do with the positive arts movement. Tell us about what you have coming up in the future.
I am so excited. Positive Arts Movement has our anniversary for Rimshot Urban Musical, and that is another play.
And I haven't seen that one. Yes. I saw the 11th hour.
Oh, if you cried at 11th hour, you are going to boo-hoo when it comes to Rimshot. That play is so tremendously powerful and is amazing. It's a play focusing on human trafficking and using the platform of the music industry in that, getting into the industry, you're told, okay, we'll do this or do that. And there's so many things that we see on television, when it comes to women and how we're perceived in the music industry. We're either side pieces dressed in barely anything in a music video, or we're the main act, but we're still dressed in pretty much nothing. And we're not portrayed as strong individual women that don't require sexuality to be something that defines us. And so this play focuses on that, and I have the honor and privilege of playing a teacher who shares her own personal story with human trafficking, having gone through it herself with the main character, Jada. And the scene that we have together is so amazing. For me personally, I know that I've gone there when I get off stage and literally my hands are shaking because you just put yourself in that moment, and it is emotional, it is gut-wrenching, and it is raw. And it's hard, but it's necessary. We have to put those things out there so that it was amazing to me to find out that Atlanta is a hub,
yes,
a major hub for human trafficking, and it just appalls me. I cannot possibly imagine. I mean, I have sons, so when it comes to the 11th hour, I have to focus on my sons and wondering, with police brutality and will my sons end up running into a situation that is life-threatening for them? But with Rimshot, there was somewhat of a disconnect because I don't have daughters, but just having gone through violence against myself in the form of rape, I can't imagine walking into a party chilling out, drinking a drink, and then waking up, ending up in some other state, surrounded by 10 other girls who don't know where they are, and you've been taken away from your friends, from your family, in a state that you don't know where you are, and then pimped out, you know, as a commodity for sexual favors and abuse and as a good instead of a person. And it broke me immensely. And so the scene that I have in the play and focusing on that really just brought it home for me. And it was like, we've got to do something to change this. There are too many girls walking these streets that disappear and no one knows where they've gone to. And it just, I talk about it and it just makes my heart just bleed because I can't imagine if that was my child. And it has to change. It has to change. And it's not someone's fault. You do not blame these children because they'll say child trafficking. These children are not trafficking themselves. They did not put themselves in that situation. Someone did this to them. And we need to be there to save these kids instead of casting them off.
Well, you know, we've had Angela Carswell on the show. She's been here a couple of times. And until I met her, I didn't know that Atlanta was a major hub. And I began to do research and began to look, and I was blown away.
Exactly.
You know, and so now I'm the person, as I'm driving, I'm looking. You know, I'm like, you know, because they'll tell you there's certain things to look for.
Yes.
This looks familiar. And I'm looking. I'm like, okay, God, help me discern if I see something that I'm aware that I'm not just somebody else who's walking by these kids. And there was one situation, and this one was a little bit different, but there were some girls that were brought over, I can't remember what country in Africa, they were brought here to braid hair. They were told they were being brought here to go to school. So their parents thought they were leaving with this woman to come for college. But this woman had these girls in a house, barely any food, hardly no running water, and she had them in a braid shop braiding hair around the clock. She had taken their passports. She was the only person in the country that they knew.
Oh my goodness.
And she said, and later on when they did discover what was going on, there were neighbors like, well, we always saw these girls around, but we had no idea. And these girls were around, they were being used to make money, braiding hair, this braiding shop. And they said they would be, you know, within arm's length of people and want to tell you, but like, I don't know you. Only person I know in this country is her. Exactly. And I don't know. And she would tell them, if you tell anybody, you know, you're never going to make it back home to see your family. This is your life. Accept it. And they talked to a couple of the girls once they were freed. And she said that she said to people it seems very simple that I would just tell someone I'm being held against my will. She said, but when you don't know anybody, and this is the only human being that you know on this continent, she said, it's not that easy because I don't know what's going to happen next. At least I know at the house, I know these girls and we can stick together. And so she really opened my eyes, you know. And so now, like I said, when I say literally everywhere, I'm like, they could be anywhere.
They really could.
And I'm looking for them everywhere.
Yes. The biggest thing, I think, when it comes to domestic violence, sexual abuse, trafficking, all of those things, it's because we're not talking to each other. You know, we have this thing where we go, okay, it's not my problem, so I don't want to get involved. And we have got to break out of that mentality as a human race. You should care about your fellow person. That shouldn't be something that's so foreign.
Yeah.
You know, it matters that you're in the grocery line and you see the woman in front of you with kids is putting back food because she doesn't have the money to cover it. You know, it matters that you see this young boy walking the street because he can't go home. He can't get in the house. We don't care enough about each other. And we put up this wall that says, I'm only focusing on me and mine. I don't care about anything else but me and mine. And we have to care about one another in order to see all these things that are wrong with our society change.
Absolutely. I'm with you. Well, I thank you so much, Nikki, for being you, for using your gift to bring awareness in these areas. Because like I said before, you're an artist activist. I remember, like I said, watching the 11th hour, and then at the end, having the entire cast come on stage and begin to answer questions for the audience. And Angela said that. She says, these young people are here not just because they have a gift, because they have a gift and they want to help change the world. And I see that so much in you. So thank you. If our audience wants to reach you, contact you, book you to come and sing, I know you can't sing today.
Right.
Share your spoken word. How can they reach you?
Well, you can reach me at NG, that's N for Nikki, G for Gray, musique, MUSIQUE, @gmail.com. Then also on Twitter and Instagram, I'm NG Musique. And on Facebook, it's ngray75.
Awesome. Well, we thank you for being here. Hopefully you can hang around a couple minutes
Absolutely.
for Miss Carmen's interview, and then hopefully you get the group back together real quick. And I'll tell you this, when we come back together at the end, there's one question I want to ask. I want everybody to be thinking about it. If there's another woman you know who is a woman changing the world, we want to know who she is. Shout her out to our audience so we can support her in her efforts. Okay, so everybody be thinking about that. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here with Carmen Caldwell on the Regina Sunshine Show on Instinct Radio. All right, you guys, you're back live with Regina Sunshine here with our final guest on the Women Changing the World show here on Instinct Radio. We have Miss Carmen Caldwell.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Her bio says, Reverend Carmen Caldwell, affectionately called Reverend CC, I like that, is the founder and CEO of Life Fulfilled Coaching and Consulting LLC, a personal development company providing inspirational messages, training, and coaching focused on relationships with God, self, and others. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, you know, I always talk about how I met someone, and I met you via Facebook
Yes.
as well. April Bird
Yes.
connected us.
Yes.
And I'm just so thankful for the women who say, you need to know this woman or that
Right.
woman, and continue to connect me with some amazing women.
Yes.
So, Carmen, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, originally from Albany, and if you're from there, that's how you say Albany.
Albany, really?
Georgia, South Georgia, and lived with my mom and dad. My parents had a wonderful sort of family, loving and supportive. But about 10 years old, I realized and found out that my father was addicted to cocaine, and it got kind of really bad and out of hand. And so I was in that household and very insecure about a lot of things, and had a sister who was smart and gorgeous and a brother who was athletic, and I was that middle child that couldn't fit in, couldn't figure out where I fit, so I had a lot of insecurities, looking for love in all the wrong places, and sort of all of that comes with that, and thought I could hide a lot of that. But I had a lot of heart issues, is what I call them. So anger and pride even, and insecurity that began to manifest in promiscuity, partying, that kind of lifestyle that still, quote unquote, the good girl, but was having a lot of fun along the way, at least I thought. And as we know, sin is only fun for a season. And that season came to an end, and I had to really come to a point where I had to ask God, what was I here for? What was my purpose? And he began to start peeling back those layers of just pain. I would, if I had to sum all that up. And out of that birthed in me a joy to minister to young girls, to work with women and families, and to realize what love and relationship is. So a lot of my coaching and my training revolves around what healthy relationships are. And we talked a little bit earlier about domestic violence and how we can get young girls to love themselves enough to say, I don't want that kind of relationship, and walk away early.
Yes.
Walk away early. So.
Well, your whole life says service.
Yes,
When I read your bio, that's the theme, service.
Yes.
Why is service so important to you?
I think it's Marion Wright Elderman that says that's the rent we pay to live on this earth. I am very much connected with my my heritage, I would say, my grandmother's. I remember being young on my mom's hip, going to serve, doing things in the community, always a part of community organizations. How can we make things better? Instead of complaining, they should do, and realizing that I am the they. Yeah, I am the they. So that I just was raised in that atmosphere. Very involved civil rights family in Albany, which is a lot of people don't realize it's a place where King was not allowed to march. That's kind of how divisive that area was. And so grew up with a family that was very much involved in that. So hearing stories about that and knowing that the sacrifices they made, that I have a responsibility to carry that forward. So yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, now when you mention your background with your father, it makes sense some of the work you're doing.
Yeah, but
so tell us about you says here you're the project director for the Middle Georgia Alcohol Abuse Prevention Initiative.
So that's my current. I work. It's a nonprofit, the Council on Alcohol and Drugs, and I work within 3 counties, and I work with students and with communities and families to support kids in not getting involved in alcohol. We know it's a leading drug oftentimes. And so you helping kids create resistance skills for not engaging when they think all their peers are doing it. And we know all their peers are not doing it because they're not. And then so helping them sort of feel better about themselves, that they don't have to engage because everyone else is doing it and they're not doing it. And so supporting families and supporting parents and how they talk with their kids. And a lot of these skills are transferable. So I do a lot of things around abstinence as well. And so, when you learn how to say no, when you learn who you are and your values and what you will or will not negotiate on. It doesn't matter what is brought to you, whether it be drugs, alcohol, sex, or any other thing. Once you figure that out, and that's that piece where I talk about the connection with God. When you get that clear about who he created us to be and the purpose he has within us, once you get that clear, and then who you are, once you get clear about yourself, what your past has been, where God is leading you, things that you struggle with. We all have blind spots on us. So who's your godly counsel, that kind of thing. When you start getting clear about that, and then I just really believe that we've been called to live this life in relationship, one with him and then with others. And that to me is such the image of the cross. And if we keep our relationship with Jesus Christ at the center of all of that, our relationship with God and others, then I think we will find our fulfillment, our purpose, and what he's called us to do. And we can't reach our destiny without other people. I can't be who I am without you, Regina. I cannot. And if I think I can, I am subject to fall.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is so true that when you see people, I guess, making bad decisions or making bad choices or allowing bad things or into their lives, it's a symptom of something else within. It's a symptom of how I feel about me.
Right.
Talk to us again about that, because that is so at the core of a lot of what's going on with a lot of women, a lot of people in general.
Yeah, and a lot of times I think we talked earlier about the mask. So we wear masks, and it's October and it's Halloween, and people wearing masks. And at the core, when we realize who we are, just being able to, I think, kind of peel away. And we have several ones, and some of them are given to us, and we have to decide which ones we want to receive and which ones we want to push away. I think, and that's coming into your own. And I think with me and my work with young girls in particular, talking with them and helping them see a different model, because some of them are not, some of the parents aren't modeling, and that's also kind of made me branch out and talk more with parents and mothers about what we are telling our daughters, whether we're speaking it or not. We are living our life before them and teaching them something positive or negative about our relationships, even about our self-body image, standing in the mirror, I hate this, and, oh, I wish I could change this, and all this stuff.
And they hear it.
Yeah, they hear it.
You're talking about you, but they hear it as you talking about them. You're my mom. I look just like you.
Right.
So if you ain't cute, I ain't cute.
Right.
And I tell women that you got to speak positive about yourself, because your daughter is taking that in too.
And we do. I mean, death and life literally is in the power of the tongue. We need to speak life over our children. Be very conscious about what we say and how we say it.
Awesome. Well, tell us about Life Fulfilled Coaching and Consulting.
So Life Fulfilled Coaching and Consulting, I am. It is an organization where I do just what I'm doing, coaching with parents, coaching with teens. It is, in me, a ministry, really. Able to do workshops where parents and teens actually can come together. Because a lot of times teens don't know the story of their parents.
Yes.
And so how can we help parents open up in a way that's healthy and in a way that supports what they need, but also is not giving too much information, age appropriate, right? But for teenagers, a lot of them can handle some of their parents' stories. And so to create a safe space, and I call it a space of grace, where God resides and where that story is being able to be shared, and the teens, daughters in particular, can hear, this is my mom's story, and the mom can share, this is why I don't want this for you, or this is why I'm so hard on you, or this is why I'm so, whatever it is. And so they can come from a place of understanding. And because I think our families, just the relationships are being broken and torn, and how can we start to restore that? So that's what Life Fulfilled Coaching Consulting is all about.
I've talked to parents about that before.
Yeah.
So often we are afraid to share our own mistakes, not recognize. For some reason you think, well, the kids aren't going to listen to me now, or they're not going to respect me. But no, they need to know. I'm not just telling you something I heard about, baby. I'm telling you something I've experienced, and I want to share this to save you from the same hurt that I've experienced.
I talk to the kids about that a lot, and they look at me and they say, oh, well, you're doing this and you're doing this well, and I say, I am. Can I tell you, I got scars. I got scars, battle scars, and you don't have to have that. So a way to talk with kids, and in particular, like I said, young girls, but young boys too, because they need to be aware of how they approach and how they are very much a part of a woman's being, the way we view ourselves, and how they can be brothers. And I think my brother has been he is one that speaks life into me and over me. And so I appreciate that perspective that he brings to our relationship. So
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
well, if someone wants to reach out to you,
Sure.
maybe they want to have you come in and talk to their youth group or to their
Would love
parents.
to.
Parents
Yes.
need it.
Yes.
Parents
Parents
need
need
it.
it.
How can they reach you?
So I'm on Facebook. You can find me on my fan page. It's Carmen Caldwell, and MPA and MDiv at the end of that. And then I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Periscope at Carmen Connects You, the letter U. So, yeah.
Before we go to break, what is the legacy you want your life to live? When it's all over and they talk about Carmen Caldwell's life, what does that look like?
I think part of it is the life of service, but I think also that I was able to impact someone, or in particular young people, to make them know that their life is worth it. Whatever they're going through, that God has a plan and purpose, and that it's going to be worth it in the end.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, you hang around.
Thank you. I sure
We're going to
will.
take a quick break. We're going to bring those ladies back, and we're going to shout out some other women
Woo, woo!
who are out here changing the world. Sound good?
Sounds awesome.
All right. You're live on the air with Regina Sunshine here on Instinct Radio. All right, everyone. You're back live with Regina Sunshine and all the ladies. Well, most of the ladies, they were part of the Women Changing the World show here on Instinct Radio, which was awesome. I'm so thankful that you guys were transparent, shared your hearts. I know people were blessed today. Now, as we were talking before we went off break, I want you guys at this point now to shout out. You guys know some amazing women, I know you do, that are also out here changing the world. Shout out those women to our audience so they can follow them, pray for them, support their efforts as well. Start with you, Carmen.
I'll shout out Dr. Tanya Lowe. She has been a mentor to me, and she has the impact experience here in Atlanta. Also, Maui Bigelow and Brandy Dawson. I just know some fabulous women, so I'm blessed to have a wonderful circle of friends. So, yeah, find them all on Facebook. Tanya Lowe, Maui Bigelow, and Brandy Dawson.
Awesome. Alicia.
Awesome. I have Shannon Simply Unique Nicole. I started as her mentor. Stevie Mills connected her and I, and she's doing some awesome things with childhood sexual abuse. I will throw in one more, Tracy Marshall. Tracy Marshall is doing awesome things in the community. Tracy is with AI.
Awesome. All right, Nikki.
Okay, I would go with, of course, Angela Carswell. With positive, with the Positive Arts Movement, who actually just won an award last night.
The I Am
Award.
yes.
So congratulations, you awesomely deserve that. And then I would also say Carlotta Washington with Mark Squared and the Purple Boots Foundation, focusing on domestic violence, and she is really making waves in those areas. So definitely two amazing women.
Awesome.
And I got two. Lorraine Thomas with Destiny's Daughters of Promise, girls mentoring organization, doing amazing work in the schools. They've allowed her to bring her organization into the schools and mentor and train and teach our girls, and she's doing an awesome work. And Dr. Deborah Houston, one of my personal mentors in Wilmington, North Carolina, what I call the classiest, sweetest, most loving, amazing woman that I know. She came into my life and turned everything upside down, but at the same time turned it right side up. So I thank you for being who you are to me and so many other women. So thank y'all for being on the show.
You.
We're going to close out the way we do every show. If you're listening, remember these words. God loves you just the way you are. You are beautiful because you were created in love. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. You have the seeds of greatness within you. You were born to live a victorious life. You are brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous.
Yeah.
You are worthy of the best things in life. Make sure you guys tune in next week. Next week's show is called Fight for Your Kids. And it's based off of a workshop that I do with parents about how do you fight for your kids during what I call those valley times. Because, you have with kids, it's the ups and downs. How do you hang in there when things are rough? So we got some people who work with youth here in Atlanta that are going to come in and talk about their organizations, how they are actively out here doing good work in the community, fighting for our kids. So make sure you tune in. So far, we've got youth empowerment activist Renee Sewell, we've got youth PR coach Crystal Jordan, and the founders of We Up Motivation, Dr. Courtney Russell. And y'all probably see him out here with the homeless people feeding and giving vaccines and stuff on the streets of Atlanta. Dr. Courtney Russell is going to be here along with his partner, David Roman. All right, so make sure you guys tune in next week, 12 noon to 2 p.m. for that. And I leave you with my personal motto. I always say it's not over till I win. If I hadn't won yet, that just means it's not over. So I tell you it's not over till you win. If you hadn't won yet, baby, that just means it's not over. Be blessed and keep winning.